Hey guys, so I just finished watching First Blood on 4K HDR starring Sylvester Stallone, Brian Dennehy, Richard Crenna, Bill McKinney, and David Caruso, directed by Ted Kotcheff, based on the book by David Morrell. Now, the book and the movie do differentiate a fair bit, mostly in regards to the fate of John Rambo. In the book, he dies. In the movie, he lives, so he can go off and do many sequels. Filmed in 1982, this is one of the big films that made Sylvester Stallone the superstar that he is today. The Rambo legacy would live on in 4 more movies: Rambo 2, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, and Rambo 5, entitled Last Blood, coming out sometime this year. Now, this movie I really do enjoy. It's a great flick and it's a classic for a reason. It's very gritty and it's a very simple tale about a Vietnam vet passing through a small American town, just wanting to get something to eat, and getting harassed by the local sheriff to the point that he snaps and fights back, causing a bloody war between him and the local sheriff. So the book kind of covered the effects of what the Vietnam War did on the men and women who served in this horrible war and the effects it had on them. And it's kind of loosely covered here as well. It is more about the explosions and Sylvester Stallone running around and shooting and blowing things up, but there is a slight undercurrent of what it is to be a Vietnam vet in this time in America and the resentment that people had for the soldiers and the military and this war. Not to mention the post-traumatic stress that these soldiers suffered when they came back home, having lived through so much bloodshed and seen such horrible things, having their friends die in bloody gruesome ways, and then have to readjust and live normal lives back in the States, all the while fighting this resentment from everyone who supposedly loved them when they left. As in the case with John Rambo's character, he just can't seem to find his place in the world. He's a drifter. He's come to this small town to visit a friend that he served with, only to find that he has actually died from cancer. So John Rambo is now the last one from his platoon. He's adrift. He doesn't know what to do. He's passing through this small town and he comes across Sheriff Will Teasel, played by Brian Dennehy. Teasel doesn't like the look of John Rambo right away, so he kind of wants this guy to move on. Teasel doesn't want him in town. Rambo's a bit resentful, promptly arrested. He has some nasty flashbacks while the police officers are trying to clean him up and shave him. He busts loose, injures a lot of cops, and then the chase is on. Ends up having full-blown military intervention when his former colonel, Troutman, turns up to help catch Rambo and bring him in. But Rambo is not having any of it, and he's going to exact revenge on Teasel at all costs. That's a basic movie, and I enjoy the hell out of it because it's just entertaining. Yeah, it's all about Rambo, this larger-than-life character. Well, he will become larger than life in further films, but this one is definitely about a troubled soldier who's just pushed too far and getting revenge. And yeah, like Stallone, he's a legendary actor. When it comes to his acting talent, yeah, he's very hit and miss. He does do some great performances. He did Copland with Robert De Niro, fantastic film. But most of his films, including Rocky, yeah, he's not a great actor, but he's very charismatic. And fortunately for him, the John Rambo character doesn't have a lot of things to say. He's a very quiet, monosyllabic kind of character. But he does have a pretty big monologue scene at the end of this film. And having just watched it like literally 5 minutes ago, his strength as an actor is just not there. It's kind of a very horrible delivery. And I had a lot of trouble understanding him. It was just kind of, you almost need subtitles to figure out what he's saying. But I do love this movie. I've seen it a lot of times, so I'm just going through a few nitpicks here. I hope Stallone's not watching this. Sorry, Sly, I do love you, man. Although your acting range is severely limited, but everyone knows that, but we still love your films. You're great. But yeah, it is quite apparent at the end of this film how limited his range is as an actor. But like I said, he doesn't have a lot of lines in this film, and that suits the character perfectly as who John Rambo is. So this film is all about John Rambo getting revenge on Will Teasel and us going along for the ride. So yeah, this one does spawn a lot of sequels, and it's definitely for me the best one in the franchise. John Rambo, like I said, is a grounded character in this one and not a superhuman machine. So coming to the transfer of this film, yeah, there's a lot of grain in this one. It is an older film, so those older films do have that light layer of grain through the whole picture. But it's definitely an uptick from the Blu-ray. The 4K HDR looks great. There's some scenes in this movie that just really, really do stand out quite a lot. Like the scenes where Will Teasel and his deputies are tracking John Rambo through the forest, and it's kind of grey and drab and very dark. But then they're wearing their police jackets, and on their sleeves is the American flag. And the bright whites and the reds and the blues of that flag are just beautiful. They stand out a lot. They're really, really quite crisp. The HDR in a lot of scenes is really vibrant, like the police cars with the blue and red lights shining, the explosions, and the lush greens of the forest environment as well is really quite beautiful. It's the best his film's ever looked. It's really quite colourful. Like I said, it's set in a kind of a drab environment. It's dark, it's rainy, it's stormy. It's not a very nice location, but it does look very, very nice. Stallone in the abandoned mine, a lot of darks, very, very crisp. And when he lights that flame, trying to see where he's going, stands out really beautifully. It's really quite eye-popping stuff. The HDR stands out a lot. It's really nice. And the detail is gorgeous as well. There's a lot of detail that stands out. All the cuts and the abrasions on Will Teasel's face and John Rambo is there. And all the details in the costuming and the suits and the environment is quite crisp. So yeah, it's a beautiful looking transfer. But as I said, there is a light layer of film grain as well. But that is to be expected in an older film. So it is a good looking transfer. The scenes at the end when he's taking on Teasel in the town, you got the neon lights shining, the explosions in the city, the cops, the fires, really, really quite nice. So yeah, it's a good looking film. And to me, yeah, like I said, it's the first one in the franchise and it's the best one. And I really enjoyed watching it again. I've seen this movie a lot of times ever since I first saw it back in the day. It's a great film and it's a testament to Stallone as a writer. Most of his more successful stuff is him actually writing in it. He does direct later on down the track as well. So yeah, like he does have hit and miss movies. His career has had lots of highs and lots of lows. And his performances in a lot of these movies is also definitely hit and miss. But he's been around for a long time. The guy's a legend for a reason. So going into a Stallone film, you definitely know what you're going to get. Action-packed extravaganza of a flick. His Rocky movies, Cliffhanger, I was going to say Judge Dredd. But yeah, he definitely has got that charisma about him and he makes very entertaining films. And First Blood is one of his first and one of his best. And I highly recommend you check it out. Most people who are fans of Stallone already own the First Blood on Blu-ray. So definitely, if you want to pick it up in 4K, if you've got the means, definitely pick it up because it does look really, really good. Giving First Blood a rating out of 10. I'm going to give it a 10 because it's a classic film. Love it. One of my favorites. And very much worth a check out if you've never seen it before. Because it's good. Watch it. It's good. Anyway, guys, that's my review on First Blood 4K HDR. I do have the other films to check out as well. Got Rambo Part 2 and Rambo 3. We'll get those reviews up as soon as I get to watch the films. I'm hoping they release Rambo 4 in 4K one day soon too. And we do have the new movie on the horizon, which I'm really looking forward to. We've had the image of Stallone in the cowboy hat. I think he's working on the ranch, and then he goes and takes on the Mexican cartel or something. But anyway, more Rambo action. So anyway, guys, thanks for checking in, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.